Right, okay. This is Phil
Hi.
of Gilman's,
How you
and
doing?
he's going to show us how to use this lovely new cooker.
Right, we'll start with the hob. Okay, so with the modern gas appliances, it's all about safety and fail-safe. So basically, if the control knobs are turned on to the on position, but not lit, no gas will come through. So even though now I have all the hob burners in the on position, there is no gas coming out of the product. Every burner has its own safety device. Each safety device, they work off of heat, okay? So, we'll turn them back off. So the ignition is on each of the switches. So when you push on any of the control knobs for the hob, the ignition will spark. Now it is interlinked, so it means it doesn't matter which one you press, they all spark at the same time. So obviously we're pressing this one over here and we see this one over here sparking. That's quite normal, nothing to worry about. Now, so I'm going to light the big one just to show you how to actually light it. So with all the burners, it's the same principle. So what you would do is you would push for the ignition, you then turn. Once it's lit, you then hold it for about 3 seconds before releasing. Okay. If you release too quick, which I'll show you on this front one, if you release too quick, what will happen, he says, it's always the way, is it will go straight back out again, but it will fail safely. So even though the tap is on, the gas isn't coming out. Now, if you have a burner on, say like that, you go off, you come back, and the burner has blown out, you'll get around about 30 seconds worth of gas, and then it will shut the gas off automatically. So with modern gas cookers, it's all about failing safely, okay? They light on high, go down to low, and obviously you can have them anywhere in between. Now, when you've turned them off, after a few seconds, you may hear a little clunking noise coming from the panel, which is just the safety device kicking out. There's a little click there. You probably didn't catch that, but it's quite a faint noise. But if obviously the more burners you've got on, each burner has one of these devices. So if you've got them all on and you turn them all off, you generally get clunk, 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 clunk. But like I say, again, it is quite normal. All right, so that's the hob. So that's generally pretty straightforward. The button on the end here is for your warming drawer at the bottom. So this can obviously be used as a storage container. Self-explanatory, nothing flammable, and it also, like I said, it's got the heater. If you press that in, it heats itself up and it heats to about 40 degrees. So it's a bit like a plate warmer as such. But you also have plate warmer features on the ovens as well, which again, I'll show you once I get there. So yeah, so the light will remain on whilst that's on. Like I say, it's thermostatically controlled, so it'll get to about 40 degrees, it will cut out, and then it will just maintain that heat, but the light will remain on during the fact that you've got the button pressed. Okay, so that's your warming drawer. I'll do this oven first. So this is just a conventional fan oven, which is controlled by this dial here. Now, on this dial, you've got a number of symbols on the dial. The first symbol on there is a bread provision. Then you've got a plate warmer. Then you've got slow cook or simmer. And then you have your conventional thermostat. When you put the oven on, the light is automatic, so the light will automatically come on with the dial. And this light here is the heat indicator. So when the cooker gets to the required temperature, the light would go out just like that. And then obviously during cooking, it will go on and off as it should. Like I say, the light will remain on during the whole cooking period, and the light will only go off once you obviously turn the dial off. So that one's a very straightforward, like I say, just a conventional fan oven like you would have at home. Right, the next two dials along, this one here is for the grill, and this one here is also for the grill and the grill type oven. Now, if you want it just solely as an oven, you would turn this dial with, it's got a thermostat temperature control on there, and obviously the figures of the temperature. Again, the light comes on to indicate it's heating, and again, during cooking, the light will go on and go off like so. Obviously, if you're using it as an oven, you have it with the door closed. If you're using it as a grill, you would then have the door open. Now, to select the grill, what you have to do is select both of these dials. Now, this dial is to select the grill, so once you get to the highest temperature, the dial clicks over to 3 grill positions. Okay, so the first one is a very small grill. The second one is like a half grill, and the third one is full width grill. To be honest with you, not many people would use the first one because it's minimal. Okay. Now, once you've selected your grill, you then select the temperature via the regulator. So this dial hasn't got a thermostatically controlled dial, it's what they call a regulator switch. So it works like a thermostat, but it has just numbers from 1 to 8 on there. Obviously 8 being the hottest, 1 being the coolest, and obviously if you put something in there at 8, you find it starting to burn, you can just turn the temperature down via this dial here. Now, with this dial, when you finished with the grill, you can't turn it clockwise to switch it back to naught. You have to go all the way back through the thermostat to the 0 position, like so. This one doesn't matter if you leave that in the on position. It's obviously that one that controls it, and then that's the temperature. So like I said, this one's not so much of an issue to turn off if you unless you're using the grill side of it. Right, so that's that. I forgot to set that one off. Right, so then we come to what they call the multi-function oven. So this oven down the bottom here has a number of different features. It is a fan oven, but it is also a conventional oven. It's also a grill. It's also got base heat for quiches and pizzas and things like that. So one of the most important things with this oven is never to put something directly onto the base, because underneath that base there is a heater element. Now, you can buy these grease catchers that basically sit on the base of the cooker and stop obviously the base from getting dirty. Now, it's not a problem to put one in that oven, but what would happen if you put it in this oven, it deflects the heat back downwards, and then it can damage the element underneath. Worst case scenario, it can damage the cavity of the oven, it will bow and the enamel will crack, and again it's then basically a write-off because it can't be repaired if the enamel goes. It's, like I say, quite a serious feature. Now, in the manual there is a diagram for all these symbols, which we will sort of look at in a minute if we've still got the manual here. But each feature on this dial is indicated in the manual. Now, from turning it clockwise position, the first symbol will be defrost. The second symbol is the bread provision, which is obviously the same as what this oven has. Then you've got the conventional fan oven. Then you have top and bottom heat only, so that's conventional, ideal for baking of cakes. Then you've got top heat only, so that's like a browner. Then you have base heat only, which is for quiches. You then have a fan heat with the base element. You have a pizza setting. You have top and bottom heat with the fan. And you have a fan with a grill. And then you have a grill on its own. Okay. Now, in the manual, it will, like I said, it will show you all those symbols, and it will give you the optimum feature for, or reason for what those features are for. And but like I say, to act as the same oven as that, you would just put it on a conventional fan oven. Now, the way you read the symbols, I always explain this, is if it's got triangles on the symbol, it means it's a grill. Okay. So the grill is always indicated by triangles. If it's got a circle with a star in the middle of it, that would indicate the fan element, which is around the fan, and the star is the fan. If it's got a line at the bottom, it's lower element. If it's got a line at the top, it's above element. or like I say, with the triangle, it's grill, and that's generally how you read the symbols on the dial. Now, with this oven, it has 2 dials, not just one. So if you select the feature like that, and then you just leave it, the machine won't heat.
Yeah.
All you've done there is you've asked it to go onto the fan heat. This dial is then the temperature dial for this oven. Again, you have a plate warmer. Again, you have a slow cook or simmer, and then you have your conventional thermostat, which again lights to indicate it's heating. And again, when you get to temperature, the light will go out.
So where does it show you how hot it is? Is there something written around?
On that dial there, there, and this dial here, you have the thermostat reading.
You centigrade.
In degrees C.
Okay.
So like now I can set it to 200 degrees, like so. And obviously when that light goes out, it will indicate it's up to temperature.
Okay.
And again, the light is automatic in this oven, as like the one there. The only one that doesn't have a light is the top, the grill stroke top oven. Now, you have on these telescopic trays, okay? So these are obviously designed so that it's easier to slide things out and check things than having to oven gloves and pull everything out. Now, they put them in what they call the optimum position. So the manufacturers believe that this is the optimum position for this oven, and likewise in this oven. In the manual, it does show you that you can remove them and you can reposition them in different positions. They can be a little bit of a nightmare, so I would always advise never remove them until you sort of studied the manual for removing them and putting them back on.
Because I can see that a big casserole wouldn't necessarily go in
between.
Well,
that shelf again that just slides out normally, and you can take that shelf out.
Oh, okay.
Completely.
So you could put it on the bottom one.
So you could then put it on the bottom. It's hot, so.
Oh, careful.
That's right. My hands are like asbestos. Now, again, I get people phone up about this gap in the door seal. Again, that's quite normal. The seal, it doesn't come in one piece. It comes in a strip, and then they feed it in there. Again, over a period of time, you may find that stretches. You may find that the gap becomes bigger and it shrinks and so on. Again, nothing to worry about. Heat rises anyway, so as long as the seal at the top is okay, then there is no issues there.
Could I ask about the left-hand oven? And again, the top shelf comes out of that as well.
Yes, top shelf and the bottom shelf comes out of that as well. Let me turn that.
So are they telescopic like
the bottom one is?
Don't burn your hands.
No, it's all right. The bottom one's telescopic, but those two are.
No, that's fine. Good.
You have an extra grill pan in this one. You have a grill pan in there, but because you have a grill in here, they supply an extra grill pan, but they only supply one grill pan handle. So, because obviously a lot of manufacturers don't actually supply handles because of safety reasons nowadays.
So we've got the handles.
So you've got the handle, it's sat in the grill pan in the bottom there. Also, you've got a telescopic grill pan as well. So again, they put it in what they class as the optimum position, but again, you can raise it if needs be. Or you can always take the tray out and slide it, because this tray will slide directly into the runners. So you don't have to exactly use. See, some people, they don't like these. Personally, I had them in my old oven and I loved them because I just found it so much easier than balancing the shelf and worrying that the shelf's going to fall out and things like that. Again, that's quite normal to have the gap there because it's a grill. They have a little bit of air, but when grilling, you grill with the door open and oven with the door closed. Also, on the back of this cooker is a cooling fan, an internal cooling fan. Now, the cooling fan, after you've turned the oven off, can remain on for half an hour after you've turned it off. That is another reason not to turn it off at the wall, because if you obviously turn it off at the wall, the cooling fan can't run, and then manufacturers class it that you're overriding a safety feature of the machine.
And presumably, when you're using the top, you should really be putting on the extractor fan as well.
Also, the cooling fan will automatically comes on when you put the grill on. So you can just hear it
Yes.
running now. So that's the cooling fan. So even though we've not got the fan ovens on, there is a fan running, but it is the cooling fan and not the oven fans, all right? So again, it's quite normal. And then the only other thing really that's of any importance is the clock itself. Okay, now the center button is the mode button. So the center button is obviously the feature button. So if you press it once, you have a countdown timer. Okay, so if you say got something going in the oven and it's going in there for 20 minutes and you want to count that down, just press that once and then plus or minus. Obviously we would have to go plus to the 20 minutes. Once you've set the time that you want, you don't need to press anything to select it. The bell will automatically go solid, and as you can see, it will then automatically start counting down. Anytime you can change that. So if you wanted to decrease or increase the time, it's just a case of decreasing or increasing. And again, once you've selected what you want, just leave it. Again, the bell will go solid and it will start counting down again.
Okay. And to cancel, if I decide I don't really want that?
To cancel it altogether, you would just go minus and take all the time all the way out.
Okay.
Like so. And then that now will revert back to the time of day. So if I leave that now, in a second, once it reverts back to the time of day. Okay. So that's the countdown timer. If you press the dial twice, the middle button, it's then got an auto timer. So the first one of the auto timer is asking how many hours until you want it to start. Okay, so if it was 12 o'clock and you wanted it to start at 2 o'clock, you would put 2 hours in there. What a lot of people get confused with the auto timers is they think it's the time they want it to start. So if they wanted it to start at 4 o'clock, they would put 1600 hours in there. No, you would work out from the time it is now to the time you want it to start. Now, once you've put that time in there, so say I want it to start in an hour's time, I would put an hour in there, like so. Then if you press the middle button again, it actually tells you what time it's going to start at. So that's the time it's going to start at. But now what that's asking for is how long you want it to run for. So what we would then do is go, right, we want it to run for an hour. So we go another hour on there, like so, it's about 46, wasn't it? Like that. And we select that. And now, if you look, you've got an auto in the display. The clock symbol will go off in a sec. The auto's in the display. Now the auto's in the display, you can now select your feature, select your temperature, and that is now, obviously nothing's started, so that is now waiting for a time to come round. Now, you can still use the grill and top oven here, and you can still use this oven whilst it's in auto mode. The auto mode is solely for this oven. So if you ever have a power cut and the clock is not set, this will work, that will work, that will work, the top will work, but this oven won't work. And like I say, it's generally because it's not got a time. Again, if you want to cancel that, you have to go back into it. So you go back into there and just take the time out like so. And then in a minute, you'll see it will flip back over to manual mode like so.
Okay.
So you get the manual. So the manual is what you want in there. If you've got the manual on there and that oven doesn't work, then there's generally a fault. If that oven doesn't work, just check you haven't got auto in the display. And then once you go past all that, so that's the start time, that's the end time, you then get the time of day. Okay, so again, plus or minus to set the time. And then the last one on there is L3. L3 is the tone of the clock. It has 3 different tones. A little bit pointless because most people want the loudest, so L3 is basically what we want. Right. Okay. And again, once you've selected anything you select, if you just leave it, it reverts back to the time of day automatically. And that is about it.
Right, well, thank you, Phil. That was
all right, no
incredibly
problem at all.
detailed and very clear. Thank you.
That's all right. It's thing is, it always helps when you go through things and
Oh, yeah.
and